Hi there, Cheryl here, and this is our card for the week, and I use a lot of the Heartfelt Creations things, not too much from Stampin' Up, and I have nothing on the inside because I haven't decided how I'm going to use this card yet. With the house on it like this, I could use it for a lot of things. I could use it, of course, it could be birthday card, a thank you card. It could be a housewarming card. I'm going to be using this piece here with the wishing well on it, and that's so many different things too. You could be wish you a happy birthday, wish you a speedy recovery, so on, so on, so on. But so yeah, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to make this one with the wishing well, and I got those pieces. Let me show you the parts I got this out of. The wishing well came from this big sheet like this, which is made more for scrapbooking, which I don't do, so it didn't hurt my feelings too much to cut that out from this piece. And this is the back side, which is lovely. I can see using these bits here for cards. And then the house one came from a sheet like this. They're all nice big 6x6 pieces, and the back side is this pretty rosy pink color. So we need those pieces, and I used, let's see, let me grab the die. I used this diamond shaped die, and that's from one of the newer things from Heartfelt Creations. They came out with a whole diamond thing, and this is the diamond from the Diamond Basics, the second to the largest die from those. And let's see, I have Whisper White cardstock here. I used the thick, and this is a 5x7 card, so the cardstock is cut to 7x10 and then scored and folded at 5 inches. So you can put that aside. Then I have another right here, just a pink little lacy bit, and that's a piece that's 4.5 by 6 1/4. I believe this is powder pink or blushing bride. I'm not sure. Hold on a second. I want to check that so I don't tell you wrong. And let's see. My cardstock's right here. Yes, this is blushing bride. So we'll need that to cut that nice lacy die. This was another piece of cardstock that I got from this. It's all these pieces are from the Tulip Time collection. And on the back is are the tags. So it's kind of towards the back of the package. But we're going to be using that as one of our mats on the card. I have this nice strip here that I cut off when I made my card base. I'll be using that. I'll stamp my flowers and leaves on that. And then this piece here is for this die cut right here. And you might say that looks small, but it's not. If you put your piece on like this, then it fits just fine. That's 4 5/8 by 4.5. Let me put that back up there. And then I have two little pieces of this wonderful paper. This is Mirri holographic card, and it's the Oyster white. I got a small package of this, like the 5.5 by 8.5 size pieces at a show I went to. I wish I'd gotten a bigger package because it's so pretty. But this comes from a website. It's called It's Marco's paper, but the website itself is Marco, no S. Okay, marcopaper.com, and I don't think I can bring that in close enough for you to see that on there. Hold on a minute. Can you see that there? Where is it? There we go. But it's marcopaper.com. And it's lovely. It's nice and sturdy and just wonderful. And a piece of vellum. And these are, let's see, I didn't write down the size these are. These are about 2 by 1 1/4. Yeah, it's about 2 by 1 1/4. And we're going to make this butterfly. And you see it's got the little vellum behind it. It looks like pearls and organdy. It's really pretty. This one that I used on this card, this die isn't available anymore. This was a small size, like a knockoff from Birch Press, I believe the company's name was. They have a much bigger one, this big. But I got this a while back, but it's not available anymore. So we're doing something different. So we'll put those aside there. So this is one of the dies I use, Diamonds and Lace. Then from Beauty Abounds. Let's see, did I even use anything from this? I did not. I was just thinking that some of these sentiments might be a good thing. Well, anyway. I have this out. Oh, I know what I used. I used the dies that go with that. Oh, these are big, beautiful butterfly dies. You know, you can't go wrong with butterflies and flowers. You really can't on a card. But we're only using this little butterfly right up here. We're going to die cut that from that pearlized paper and the vellum. Well, we won't be using those on the vellum. Those are getting fuzzy cut. But they layer, so that's where we got the butterfly from. Alright. And we're going to cut this piece of lace right here. That's this one from Whisper White cardstock. And then from the Tulip Vase and Fillers, we'll be using just this one tulip on this stamp. And from the flowers, these flowers here, there's one flower and the leaves. Yeah, so we're going to cut 2 of those, the leaves and this one tulip. And then, of course, I have the die that goes with that. I have my 1/2 inch seam binding here in white. I get white because I can dye this any color that I want using my dye inks. We're using Prills, and it's this pack right here. I turned it the other way so it'd be easy to pick out. And these Prills are Coral Sea. We'll be using those. I have a brayer here, and this is double-sided tape. It's I don't know, Sook Wang is the name of it. I got this on Amazon. I have it in this 2-inch size, 2.5 inch size, a 2-inch size, and then I also have, I got a big roll of it because this is now my new favorite way to attach Lacy dies to projects. And we'll be seeing this more in future videos, but we're going to use that today. And then I have the brayer to roll my paper down nice and snug down on that. We're using the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I used a little bit of the Pearl X on this. I want a little shimmer on it. That's totally optional. And then I also have my Dries Clear adhesive. It's art glitter, designer. And let's see, our inks are Flirty Flamingo, Sahara Sand. Oh yeah, so we're not using the Memento at all. The Sahara Sand, Old Olive, and Mango Melody. And I have 2 sponge daubers here, one that I'm using for the Flirty Flamingo and one for the Mango Melody. And I should have another one to use for the Old Olive for the leaves, but I didn't get my proper one out, so I'll just grab this one here. And that's it. So let's do some stamping first, because this spray of little bitty flowers here, that's actually 2 things are glued down on that. The Prills are glued, and then glitter is glued over it, so that takes some drying time. So let's get started with that. And I need a block. And we'll just share the block between them. Okay. So there's the stamp. Now I only need this part on. I'll get my Sahara Sand ink. I used that because I didn't want any real hard lines on my flowers. And I'm just gonna ink up this one. I don't need all of them, so I'm just gonna stamp that one on. And twice. And then we're going to be using this larger tulip here. So that's the only one I really need on the block. And I'll ink that one up. And stamp that. And my leaves. Just one set of the leaves. There we go. And that's it for the stamping. Unless you know what you're going to use your card for, then you'll be stamping a sentiment or a little banner or something like that. So, let's start. I'm going to start with the tulip. And I'm going to use the Mango Melody on the top edge here, just like so. Put a good amount of color down there because we're going to glitter that, and that kind of washes out the color a little bit. And then I'm going to use the that's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to switch to Flirty Flamingo. Now I have to get that Mango Melody out of there. There. Okay. And then I'm going to put the Flirty Flamingo, I'm going to bring that up. I hope you can see this. See, I'm just going to sponge that up like that. And bring some of that color up into it so we have a two-tone on our tulip. And then we're just going to sponge Flirty Flamingo on these little flower spray things. I don't know what kind of flower that is. Okay. And then we'll switch over to the Old Olive. And I'll do my leaves. and the stems of our flowers. Like so, and then those are ready to be die cut. So while I'm over visiting with Mr. Big Shot, I'll do my other die cutting also. I'll die cut this and my lacy parts for the front. So I'll get all that done too, and we'll come back and we'll start putting the glue on these, and we'll get the Prills on them, and then we'll do the butterfly. Oh, I'll cut the butterfly. Oh, nope. I have to show you what I'm doing with the butterfly. Let me do that now. I have 9 minutes left on my time. Okay. So on one of my pearlized ones, I'm going to put some of my tape. So I'm just going to pull a bit out here. I'm going to lay my cardstock down on there. And trim that bit off. So we're making like a sticker with this. Now if you don't have this tape and you don't want to get this tape, you can always do this with the Tombow glue. You dab the glue on the back with your Tombow on the back of the piece, your die cut piece, and let it dry, and it'll become sticky. But I just like to blitz through my card making when I'm doing this. So now I already have my sticky stuff on the back here. I just need to cut this out, and it will be all ready to go. There's no dry time involved in it. So let me get all my die cutting done, and I will be back. So like I said, I'm just going to use these dies. This one is the top one. This one will be on the bottom, the one with a little bit more substance to it. That's the one I'm going to cut my piece with the sticky stuff out. And I'm just going to die cut it just like this. And then we'll trim off the excess on here. Then my other plain piece of this will get cut with the smaller die with the less details in it. So that will get cut just like that, and we'll trim off. So I'll be back. So I have my pieces die cut. There's some things I want to talk to you about. On these dies, because they are such delicate and dainty dies, you might have to kind of coax them out of the die a little bit. Especially this one. This one likes to just sit in the die, and you have to just get a little end up, just kind of peel it out of the die. But you definitely should think about getting a die brush, because that makes getting all these little pieces out so much easier. And I'm checking it over as I'm talking to see, make sure I didn't miss any. Oh, I did miss a couple. I've got a couple right there that didn't come out. So you just poke those out. Then just poke those out with a pokey tool. But that's so much better than going through and poking almost every one of these little pieces. If you like these delicate lace dies like I do, you're gonna really want to think about investing in one of these die brushes. Yeah, I got a little piece there too. There's so many tiny little openings in these. You really have to look them over good. Okay, and I've got, so these are going to go like this. My butterfly. Okay, when you cut out pieces like this, now I have a magnetic platform, but I always use a bit of tape to hold my dies in place anyway, because I want them exactly where I want them to cut. So even if you have a magnetic platform, do tape these down. I used delicate painter's tape, but I still tap it off on my clothes a little bit to make it even a little bit less sticky. Some people like to use washi tape. I don't like to. I have a hard enough time cutting into things that like the designer papers and washi tapes, that I don't need to have that added thing of just wasting it by using it on die cuts. So I use the painter's tape, the delicate painter's tape. Now on this one, this is the piece that we have the sticky on the back, and I left this in the thing here in the die so that I can show you how to do this. So first I'm going to peel this out just like this, and most of this is going to, oh, there we go. You see it doesn't totally cut through this backing. So now I have my butterfly here like this, and just carefully peel that out. And I'm going to trim off this excess here. See, because we're not going to use this. So I'm just going to trim that off. You know what? I cut the wrong butterfly. I have two different butterflies. Oh, isn't that funny? Where's my other butterfly? Oh, see? Look at this. They're two different butterflies. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go back. I'm going to cut another one to go with this. Oh, that's so funny. Well, there's my one mistake for the video. But this is what you do. Just use a pokey tool and poke them out. And you see they kind of stick on my finger anyway. But there we go. I've got most of my pieces out. I've got one more little piece there. One more little piece here. So I've got all my little sticky pieces. Oh, that one's not out yet. Let's see if that'll stick on my finger. Nope, it's going to give me a hard time. Just poke that little piece out and grab that. Then we're going to take this and I'm going to put this down on my little piece here of vellum. Okay. Let me go recut that piece. Oh, that's so silly of me. I'll be back. Alright, so I cut out the right one to go with that piece. And let me just trim that little bit off. Okay, I'm going to put these aside for the moment. And we'll come back to those because I want to get these two pieces. I want to get the Prills on them. So what I'm going to do, and I forgot to tell you we need glitter. We're going to need some craft foam or dimensionals. And I like to use my little tray for things like glitter and Prills. But scrap paper works just fine. So I'm going to get my art glitter glue. Now, let me open the Prills up first. Get my art glitter glue and give that a nice coating of glue on there. And I'm putting quite a bit on, you see. And then I'll put my Prills on and just dump a whole bunch of them on there. Tap it off a bit. And I'll just put that aside to dry, because then once that's dry, we'll glitter it also. And then I'll do this one. Just get a nice amount of glue on there. And dump my Prills on. and put that aside. Now I can just dump all my little Prills right back in my container. And again, you could use scrap paper and just fold your scrap paper before you start. And make it into a little trough to get all the little Prills in, and you're good to go. Okay, so this piece we don't need. Let's get rid of that. And we'll get my butterflies back in here. And I'm going to get my little tiny fussy cutting scissors and cut off all the vellum around the edge. Now when I get up to the antennas, I'm going to cut them off because we have antennas on the top piece here. And I don't want to have to cut around them. And when you're fussy cutting, it helps to, as you go, you want to turn the paper as you cut. So this whole piece here can come right off. This really makes a pretty effect, having the vellum behind it. Like I said earlier, it just gives it a kind of like pearls and organza kind of look to it. I have to keep an eye on my camera. It looks like my charge is getting a little low. And I don't want to mess up and have part of the video missing because I ran out of battery. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done. This tulip collection is pretty. I got the newest one too from Heartfelt Creations, the pansies. I just love pansies. When I was a little girl, my mom always had all different pansies in her garden, and I always thought they looked like little men, like little men's little faces. Okay, so this is our back piece. This will be our front piece. I'm just going to bend the wings up a little bit. And we'll put a little bit of art glitter glue on the back here. And just line the bodies up on the butterfly. I'll just press that down. Make sure everything's lined up. Alright, and there's our little ornamental butterfly. And let's glitter now. Let's do some glittering. I usually do the glitter at the end because it's often an afterthought for me. I get done with a card and I say, oh, some glitter would be nice. I'm just going to lay these down in here. Now these are not dry yet. I really recommend you let things dry. I can't tell you how many times I've messed up something on a card just because I didn't let things dry. And so I'm taking a big chance here. I'll glitter up put some glue on there. I'll put some glue on my leaves. And it doesn't have to cover totally. We don't need a lot of glue for the glitter. The Prills are a little bit more substantial, so we need more glue for them. And let me see if I can't I'll just kind of daub this on so I don't knock my Prills off. Isn't this fun? Watching me put glue on these things. Okay. I'm going to recap my glue. Always recap your glue. It's a terrible thing to go to use it and find out it's all stopped up. Sometimes you can never get them unstopped once they're stopped up, you know. So I always try to keep my lids on. So just sprinkle these real well with glitter. And I'm just going to set them aside just like this for now. And let me get all my other card pieces here. Bring those in. Okay, now I sponged around the edges of my card base with the with Flirty Flamingo. I just didn't want it stark white. I want to just look at it again and see if I want to rethink that. And I don't know. No, I think I need to sponge it. Oh, I want to tell you about this. To get this little bit of a pearlized look, all I did, and I tried a couple different ways of doing this before I settled on doing it this way, is I took my Pearl X, put the lid on good, give it a little shake. So I have some of the pearlized things in the lid. I just picked it up with my finger like so and just rubbed it on there, rubbed it in real good. And it will stick to your paper. It kind of gets in all the little pores of the paper and it will stay on there. So that's how I did that. And like I said earlier, that's totally optional. So let me get my sponge dauber. That's my Flirty Flamingo. And my ink. Pick up some of the ink. I'm going to daub that off on the side here. If you don't have a silicone craft mat, then you might want to get a little piece of plastic or something that you can daub this off. That works it down into the sponge groove so you don't get anything all nasty and streaky when you put your sponge to the paper. And just go all around the edges here. One of these days I'm going to figure out how to speed up the videos. I know there's a way to do it with the program I use. I downloaded a program a while back. It was free online thing. It's called Shotcut, so that I can piece videos together. So I can do little short clips and piece them all together. But there's also a way to speed up parts of the video. And I wouldn't be able to talk while I was doing it, because that would sound kind of funny, wouldn't it? But I'd be able to speed over things like this, and I wouldn't have to try to think of something to talk about. I always feel like I should say something entertaining while I'm doing things like this, just so you don't get too bored watching. I'm going to wipe my table off here, so we don't get that ink somewhere we don't want it. And we can start putting our card together while we're waiting for our glitter and all to dry. So this piece will go down first. I'm using my art glitter glue. If you like tape better, then use tape. I like the glue. I think the glue holds better over the long run. Or I think the glue holds better over the long run. I've had pieces that I've put tape on start to peel up over time. So that's why usually you'll see me use glue. The only time I use tape is when I'm designing a card, and I'll use a repositionable tape to do the card, and that way I can move things around if I want. There's not a whole lot of places on here to put glue, There's a nice wide strip, top and bottom there, and then in between here a little bit. So most of this is just going to be kind of loose. I'll do the same on this side. I'm trying to work quickly so my glue doesn't start to dry while I'm doing this. Okay, and I just center that. My card. Press that all down. And then these two pieces will go next. Now anywhere along the line here you wanted to pop something up, you could certainly do that. I kept my card kind of flat. So a lot of the cards I make they just aren't mailable because there's too much dimension to them. I'd have to put them in a box, and you know what shipping, you know how much shipping is to ship little boxes. So I try to avoid that. Let me line that up here. So that's centered also. And then we'll add this bit. And I don't think my glue is quite dry on my butterfly or my other pieces. So I'm gonna just kind of go have a coffee break for a little bit, and then I'll come back and we'll put the butterfly, the flowers, and the bow on. We'll do the bow. Okay, so let's get this card together. That's the most exciting part, I think. So let's see, I've got all these all ready to go on. I've got a bit of craft foam here. And let's do the bow next. I'm going to work right off the spool. I got this gigantic spool of seam binding. Look at all that. I got it in white because I can dye this with my dye inks any color I want. I'm just going to use it white for this one. So let me show you how to do the bow. Just leave yourself a good amount hanging over the edge, couple 2-3 inches. Wrap it around your fingers. Leave a little space between your fingers because it's going to tighten up on them. And we go around one more time here. And then on this side, I'm going to have it a little bit longer than this end. So I'm going to cut it off like maybe 4 inches out here. So just snip that off. Because this piece now will go right down here. You see, right in there between your fingers. Oops. Just like that. You'll pull that through. Now this is going to be your good side of your bow. That's going to be the side that everyone sees. So you want to make sure that lays nice and flat there. Bring that up, just like that. And now you see they're about the same length now. And we're just going to tie a good tight knot there. Just like that. Okay. Now see, if I hadn't left a space between my fingers, I would have had to struggle to get this off. And here we go. Now that we have it off our fingers, we can kind of tweak our bow a little bit. I see one side is just a little bit longer than the other, so, or a little bit bigger than the other, so I'm just going to pull this a little bit. Oop, maybe I pulled too much. Yeah, maybe. Just pull it back a little bit that way. And we can trim our ends here. Let's see, I want them to go like this on my card. And our bow is ready to go on. These aren't quite dry yet, but I'm going to take a chance, so wish me luck on that. Let me put the butterfly on first and give me another half a minute of time for those to dry. I'll just put a little bit of the glue right on the center on the body and put him up here. Put him at a little bit of an angle. And then next will come, I think I'll put the leaves on, I'll put the tulip on next. And I'm going to pop that up a little bit, so I'm going to just cut a little, make my own glue dot here. Cut myself kind of an ovally shape. And you see I wasn't particularly neat about it. I'll just kind of test fit that, make sure nothing shows all the way around here. I trim a little bit off the top here, I think. Let's just cut that little bit off. Put some of our glue on the back. And our foam piece goes on. This makes this nice and sturdy too if you're going to send this through the mail. Because see, I've got that whole back of it covered and supported. Alright, so I'll put that. I want him about right here. Okay, coming up in onto our picture. And you see these little flowers here? Look here in the picture. Those are the same kind of flowers as our little sprays here. So that's going to just, they're going to just blend right in there. Isn't that nice? So let me cut some long pieces there for those. One for each. And we'll do the same thing on these. Let me just give it a little test here, just to make sure. Maybe if I go this way. Okay. Yeah, that looks fine. We'll put some glue down the back here. Stick that on. And some more glue. Let's get moved up just a little bit. And I'll just carefully put this one here. And this is another one of those cases. Best thing to do is to let it dry before you try putting it on. But I can never wait. So we'll do the same here. Glue this one. And then we can do our leaves. And that will give these just a few seconds to set up. Now our bow, when we go to put our bow on, I'm going to use, you can use either tape or glue dots to put your bow on. I've found that most liquid glues just don't work very well. Oh, I need to cut myself some little foam shapes here. I found the liquid glues just don't work well. If you get along well with your glue gun, you could use your glue gun. I just don't. My glue gun and I are not friends. I have I have a sweet little glue gun. My son got it for me one year for Christmas. And it's has a precision tip on it. And it does work great, I have to say. But I tend to burn myself on things like that. That's why I don't iron either. No. In my household, you better either wear knits or permapress or something like that, because I'm not ironing. Okay, so we got that on there on the back. I have a little tickle. We have a lot of things blooming around here right now. And we'll put that on here. Oh, I'm going to want to move something here. Move that over a little bit. And then we can put our bow on. So let's see. I need a tape runner here. Got my snail adhesive. And on the back of the bow, look at this. I just go like this. Give it a couple of good swipes with the with the tape runner. And there. Our bow's on and our card is finished. So if you've enjoyed this video today, be sure to hit that like button down below. I check those things. If you have any questions or comments, leave those down below also. I check those also, and I try to get back to people as quickly as possible. And if there are any Stampin' Up! Products you'd like to purchase today, that would be wonderful if you use me as your demonstrator. And you can do that either through my Facebook page or my blog. And as always, I'll list all of the materials down below. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Have fun crafting. That's what it's all about, having fun. So take care, stay safe, and happy stamping.